Hello everyone, how are you? I'm Dr. Ritu Mohan and welcome you all on my YouTube channel Communication for Success. Our today's video is about idioms and phrases. Means how we can use idioms and phrases in our day-to-day communication in order to improve our spoken English. Idiom and phrases are one of the most important parts of vocab. They can help us to make our language more effective because with the help of idiom and phrases we can say a lot in few words. So let us start, friends. The first one is bite off more than you can chew. It means to try to do something that is too difficult for you. For example, he has taken 3 projects at the same time. It is really difficult to focus upon all. He has, I think, bitten off more than he could chew. Next one is up in the arms. It means angry about something. For instance, the police has traditionally been up in arms with the people who breaks the lockdown. The third one is burn the candle at both ends. Means if you burn the candle at both ends, you work excessively hard, say by keeping 2 jobs or by leading a busy social life in the evening. For example, the doctors are burning the candle at both ends these days, as first they have to take care of their patients, second, saving themselves from the infection. Next one is against the clock. It means if you are working against the clock, you are working in a great hurry. For example, with only half the syllabus studied, I raced against the clock to be ready for the exam. Next one is under a cloud. If you are under a cloud, it means you are in trouble. For example, the police has found a person corona positive. His old friends whom he visited recently are under cloud. The next one is pay someone back in his or her own coin. Means if you pay someone back in his or her own coin, you treat him or her in the same way she treated you. For example, by refusing to help her colleague, she paid him back in the same coin. The next one is cool your heels. It means wait for something, especially when it is annoying. For example, I spent 2 hours cooling my heels in the waiting room while the officer was busy in a meeting. Next one is boil the ocean. It means if you try to boil the ocean, you try to accomplish something too ambitious. For example, you expect our plant to manufacture 40,000 parts in a week. You are trying to boil the ocean on this one. Next one is keep an ear to the ground. Be well informed of current trends, opinions, and happenings. For example, one of the main reasons for his success in business is that he keeps an ear to the ground to know what the customers want and why they are not satisfied with competing products. Next one is hold your horses, means be patient. For example, hold your horses. I am not yet done with my explanation. Next one is move heaven and earth. It means to make supreme effort for something. For example, I'll move heaven and earth to finish in top 10 percentile in the exam. Next one is on thin ice. It means if you are on thin ice, you are in a delicate situation. For example, you are falling short on class attendance and you fail to submit the last assignment. You are walking on thin ice in this semester. Next one is see the light of day. It means when something sees the light of day, it finally happens for the first time. For example, after so many false starts, his book finally saw the light of the day. Next is toe the line. If you toe the line, you behave according to an official rule. For example, the industrialists these days have to toe the line with the government. Next is live on borrowed time. It means existing longer than expected. For example, my 15-year-old car is living on borrowed time. Next one is cry for the moon. If you cry for the moon, you make a demand that cannot be fulfilled. For example, you want such an expensive gift on your birthday. Well, you are crying for the moon. Next one is swallow your pride. It means if you swallow your pride, you do something even though it hurts your ego. But it doesn't mean to surrender your self respect. For example, I swallowed my pride due to tedious tasks for 6 months till I found a better job. Next is read between the lines. It means if you read between the lines, you try to understand someone's real feelings or intentions from what they say or write. For example, the government says that the economy is robust, but if you look at the employment data and read further between the lines, you realize that the situation is not that rosy. Next one is go through the roof. It means to increase beyond all expectations. For example, petrol and diesel prices have gone through the roof in the last week. Next, allow the dust to settle. To allow a situation to become calm or normal once again after a period of excitement of or uphill. For example, the farmers are angry because of the low prices at which government agencies are buying their produce. Let us wait for the dust to settle before we negotiate with them. Next is a shot in the dark, means a wild guess. For example, though I topped the quiz, but some of my responses were wild guess. Start with a clean slate. Means make a fresh beginning, forgetting what happened, usually bad in the past. For instance, relations have not been great between the two countries, but it's time to start from a clean state. Next one is wear two or several hats, means to function in more than one capacity. For example, he wears two hats in the company, chief marketing officer and chief information officer. Steal the show. It means if you steal the show, you get lot of attention or credit in an event or show. For example, the Indian team stole the show on the first day of World Cup by winning with a huge margin. Next one is leave no stone unturned, means to do everything you can to achieve your goal. For example, I left no stone unturned to raise money for my company. Set in stone. It means if something is set in stone, it is very difficult to change. For example, the contract isn't set in stone. If the deal is compelling enough, we are open to change it. Next one is keep one's words. To do as promised. किसी से किया हुआ वादा निभाना. For example, he always keeps his words. If he has promised to put in a word for you, he will. Next one is through thick and thin. It means If you do something through thick and thin, you do it whether circumstances are good or not. For example, he is one of those rare employees who has remained with the organization through thick and thin. Next one is turn the tide. To reverse the course of events from one extreme to another means with that goal right at the start of the second half, the home team seems to be turning the tide against their arch rivals. Next one is eat like a bird, to eat little food. For example, you claim to be eating like a bird for the past 3 months, but you have hardly lost any weight. Next one is not the only fish in the sea, means not only suitable thing or person one can find. For example, you shouldn't be so heartbroken at the rejection by her. Remember, she is not the only fish in the sea. Next one is in the same boat. If two or more persons are in the same boat, it means they are in the same difficult situation. For example, both of us are in the same boat, stuck in a jam. So, these were some idioms and phrases. I hope you have found them interesting enough. You can use them in your day to day communication in order to improve your spoken English. And I'll end up with an idiom only, means the big picture. It means looking at the situation as a whole, considering the main facts and implications, means ignore minor things and focus upon a thing or situation as a whole. So I hope you must have liked this video. Our next video will be related to vocab only. Till then, be safe, be healthy, be kind, and be vegetarian, please. Thank you.